sure to get the audio. Okay. All right, can everybody see my screen okay? Thank you. All right, before we get started, does anybody have any questions on swing trading before we get started? Yes, Chiefs, this is for the swingers. All right, no questions. Cool. All right, so real quick, just so everybody knows, I personally like to use the 4-hour time frame for swing trading. That's what I'm on right now. You can see that I have Neo pulled up, and it's the 4-hour. I know some people have said that they like to use 2-hour. You can also use daily. 4-hour just kind of breaks it up a little bit more, so you can see a little bit more of what's going on. Let's just start by showing everybody how to find swing trades. So this is finviz.com. You can see the URL there at the top, and I will post this into the subscriber chat so everybody can just click it, save it somewhere. This is where we go to find some swing trades. All right, now what we're going to do is right here underneath this top search bar, we're going to go to the screener tab. There's home, news, and screener. You want to hit screener. It's going to bring up 7,622 stocks. We want to narrow that down. So what we're going to do now is right here underneath these drop down menus, you're going to see descriptive, fundamental, technical, and all. I'm going to hit all, and then it's going to drop down all these conditions that we can start to play with. Now, some of you guys might like to trade higher, but I like to look for stuff under $10. So I'm going to go to under $10, and now see it dropped us down to 2,000 tickers. And so we're still going to try to narrow that down the best as possible. Right here you see pattern. This will get you narrowed down really quick. And of course we're wanting to find something that's uptrending. That means over a decent period of time the stock is moving upwards. We're not really caring about what it's doing. Maybe today it's kind of low, but over time, maybe over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, it's moving up, and that's what we care about. So on the pattern for a swing, we want to make sure we're choosing one of these channel ups. There's channel up, and then there's channel up strong, and you see that there's usually not a bunch of channel up strongs, so we have 24 there, and you see we just went from 7,600 to 2,000, and now we're at 24. So if you're good with looking through 24, and that's a pretty good number. Sometimes you might want 30 or 40, just depending on how much looking you're wanting to do. You can narrow this down a lot more. You can go in here now and maybe look under $5 or $4, $2, $3. 24 is good though, because right now I'm going to hit charts. Right there underneath all the conditions and drop downs, you'll see right there, kind of in the middle of the screen, there's custom and then there's charts. So I'm going to hit charts, and it'll bring up just a quick overview of these charts, and they automatically draw the trend lines in for you on FinViz. Get these ads out of the way. And it does appear to be alphabetical order, so that's nice. Now what we're looking for is we're looking for stuff that is still running in those trend lines. So the purple line will be your resistance, also known as the ceiling. And the blue line will be your support, also known as the floor. And so just so everybody knows, we were looking for it to bounce in between those lines and not fall below and not break out the top like ARAY did, because then basically it's already done at that point. In my opinion, it's already shot up. When it breaks out of that resistance or the support, it's going to move in that direction with a lot of force, also called momentum, and you'll see a lot of momentum signals with vision. That's basically what that means, is there's a lot of buyers there. They all see the same lines, they all see the same stuff. They know if it breaks that point at that time, it's going to move with some momentum behind it. So it's really easy to go through these charts, and you'll see some stuff. There's actually a lot of good ones on here this time now that I'm looking. A lot of times you'll see some stuff that kind of fell through the bottom, like this NGD. I'd be a little concerned about that one. It looks to be, decently hanging out at the bottom there. So if you're going to look at something like this and maybe look in, since it's on support, maybe look for a ride back up to the resistance line, you can. Obviously, we're going to wait for a vision signal. You can kind of use vision to give you some confirmation on both the 4-hour and the daily chart, and if both of them say, hey, let's go long here, then we can be safe and feel pretty good about that position. So you could get in there and then ride it straight up to the resistance line. At the resistance line is where I would sell it, because there's no guarantee that it's going to break out and start to run. And basically, when you get into swing trading, you buy down here on the support, you ride it up here to resistance, you can sell it right there, or you can stay in it, let it come down here, watch it on the support, make sure it doesn't break through the bottom. Sometimes they will if they get bad news or something, but a lot of times, if it's on a good trend, then it's going to continue it. A lot of people, once it comes back down and touches the support again, they add to their position. So a lot of people ask a lot of times, why would you add to a position when it's at a higher price than what you bought in to it originally? And so basically you're averaging up your current price or your average price, which is fine, because we're riding this trend, and what you want to do is, once you see that it's going to continue to respect that support line and keep following that trend, what you're doing is basically just adding to your position. And at the end of it, once you get up here to the top, once it starts to maybe you just want to take profit, or maybe you see it fall out up here, at that 185 level, then you're still going to be in very good profit, because you're adding to your position every time it comes to that support line. So it's going to start to kind of compounds your profits. Don't think of it so much as averaging up, because you're really just going to compound your profits as it moves up. Now, of course, like I said, you want to watch it at the support line and make sure that it's not going to break through it and start to die. But once you have that confirmation that it's going to respect it and continue back up the trend there, back up towards the support line or the resistance line, then you should feel safe to get back in there. And so you can either just do that and ride it and then add to your position every time it sits on support, or you can ride it up to the resistance line, which is the purple line, sell it. Once it comes back down to the support and you see it for respecting that support again, buy back in, ride it up to the purple line, sell it. And you can just do that over and over again. And of course, this trend has been going on since the middle of March. So I mean, you could have bought into this thing over and over, and this could be the only stock that you really traded, and you could have made some good money on it. So anyway, it's really this easy to find swing trades. The only thing that you could do to make you feel more confident about getting into swing trades, this is a super good one too, by the way. If you guys watch scanners, I know you've heard this ticker. XTLB is always on there, and I mean, you can see why it kind of just falls down and then just gaps up like nobody's business. You can see all these candles with these long wicks in here, and these are daily candles. So if you got in, something on the morning or at a low on these days, you could easily day trade this too. So the only thing that could really make a swing trade better is if you look up, a lot of these are pharmaceutical companies. So you get in there on biopharmcatalyst.com. Let me see if I can remember how to spell it. Let me get rid of this nonsense here. And this kind of gives you a list of a bunch of FDA filings. They also have, let me see, I haven't been on here in a long time, so give me a sec here. There was a deal. Here we go. There's a weekly watch list right here, which is super helpful. So you got Biotech Week in Review, Biotech Catalyst to watch to round out November. So they do these, looks like every week, and they could definitely give you a good a good start on maybe what stocks to watch. So right here you can quickly see that 11/7/2020 earnings, ARNA, AVDL, BHVN. They just list a bunch of tickers, and then you can go here to FinViz, type in that ticker, and so let's use one of these real quick. We got ARNA. So if you go to the search right here at the top left and you type in ANRA and just hit enter, it'll quickly pull up the chart for you and all the information on it. This is another big thing that we're going to go over next. Is you can see the INST own. That's the amount of institutional ownership. So institutions, if you don't know, they're basically big trading firms. A lot of people kind of get them confused sometimes with hedge funds, which basically are the same thing. They hire people to trade for them all day, give them a cut basically, and then they go home. So institutional ownership, the way I see it, and the higher the number, like this is 94.6%. That's crazy. That's great. And I would assume because this big massive gap down that a lot of them just recently sold out of it. So this is a little bit delayed, but it's very, very accurate. So in my mind, institutional ownership, especially being that high, these are professional traders that do this every day, would probably get fired if they didn't know what they were doing. So the way I see it is, if there's that much institutional ownership in something, especially on a swing like this, they're seeing the same thing you are. They're seeing the same thing everybody else is, and they're not gonna put all their money into something that doesn't make sense. They're not gonna just go out here and blow money on stupid shit. So there's a reason they're there. Do you need to know the reason? In my opinion, no, you don't. You need to make sure that your trend lines and your support and resistance are where they should be. If you're drawing it out on TradingView, and then you could go in here and before you take a position, like I said, go look up news if you want. Maybe some FDA stuff that's coming up. So if that helps you or makes you feel better about trades you're getting into, then of course go ahead. I typically don't really care about the news anymore with Vision. To me, it's just a waste of my time because Vision will tell me when I need to get in and when I need to get out based on the chart, and that's really all that matters. But like I said, if you want to use the news or maybe some FDA filings or upcoming filings or tests or what's it called? Can you tell it? I haven't looked up the news in a long time. There's three phases. So there's normally 3 phases to FDA stuff. So, if something's on phase 1, usually by phase 3, you're going to know whether it's stuck or not and whether the FDA approved it or not. So then it kind of gets sketchy if you're nearing or in phase 3, because if the FDA doesn't clear something, you'll see it drop like a rock. So around phase 3, you need to kind of be concerned. What the hell is my phone doing in there? Is that my phone? Siri, what the hell are you doing? No, that's the iPad. Siri, shut up. Siri does that again, and I'm gonna throw it in the blender. So anyway, nearing phase 3, you need to be careful because it's going to get a little sketchy. If the FDA doesn't approve it, it's dead, and you'll see it drop like a rock. So from there, you go to Vision, of course. And let's go ARNA. And we're gonna pull out a little bit here. That's what she said. And I like to get in to swing trades using the gambler setting, and here we can see this is where FinViz also had their trend lines. Oh yeah. So we want to hit as many points as possible. You don't have to get them all, so don't worry too much about that. You just want to try to get the most important, the highs and lows, as many as possible. So I'm going to use that to get into swing trades. Let me Oh, just so everybody that doesn't know, the date deal. This is what it's for. If you only want to see maybe today while you're day trading, or this week or whatever, you can just start kind of clicking this back, and you can narrow it down to just today, just the week, whatever you want to do. So it's super handy. That's Josh's little idea there, which was awesome. Okay, so being Vision is so badass. You all know that already because you're using it. Look at that. On the support, Vision told you momentum long. Oh my gosh. Right. I mean, once you draw them trend lines, if you get them right, you'll see like Vision. It's just so good. It's just so good. So right here, momentum long off the support. When this whole trend started, I might add, and you could have went short here. You could have came out. That's depending on how you want to follow Vision. I know that I've went against Vision sell signals before, and I lost a couple $100, and that's the last time I went against it. Doesn't make sense. I know. I gave Vision the strategy. Blah blah blah. Talk shit all you want. But I learned my lesson. On FinViz. Oh yeah. You want me to bring up the actual menu? Okay, so on sensitivity, I'm very high. Risk is gambler. And then the start date's obviously going to be depending on what you're looking at. Oh yeah, let me yeah, here, let me bring up another chart here real quick, because I don't want to lose my spot there. Let's just look at Neo again. Good old Neo. Okay. Go. Yeah, I know that first Sunday school deal that I have on YouTube. I went over that. I know a lot of people didn't get to make it though. That was Billy. All right, so we're in the 11th month. I can't remember what your name is that was asking what the date deal is. We're in the 11th month, so we're going to put on the 11th. Say we want to only see, let's see, I'm on the 15 minute, that's why. Let me go to the 5, and it'll be a lot easier to understand. Okay, so we see the 13th down here. Say we only want to see, let me move this out of the way. Say we want to only see the 13th. Damn, that thing's going wild. We only want to see the 13th to today, or Friday, I guess it would be. So it would show us only the 13th. See, if we go back, there's no signals here. There's only from the 13th to today. And then if we want to turn it up and only see, well, I guess it's not going to show me. But yeah, that's what it is. And so if we kick it back one more, we'll see some more signals. So you can just choose to see today's signals, and Vision will go based off just today's signals, or you could just go back as far as you want, really. So we'll go back. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's got everything that you could want. I don't know if it does a flag or not. I think if you have the premium FinViz deal, you can. And then you can also watch it kind of chart the lines and stuff for you real time if you have the premium, but I don't have it. What it does on the free version does fine, for me. But I usually do, like I was showing, channel up, and then I'll look at the wedges, and then I'll look at like wedge ups. That's usually what I mess with. I don't really think I've ever looked at the other stuff. I mean, I've looked at like double bottoms and stuff like that. But as far as anything else goes, that's usually what I always like to look at. So you're looking to get the FinViz Premium? I got you. Yeah, if you do, let me know. Let me know. Let me know how much it is, and mm. Oh, nice. All right, so let me get back to what I was showing you guys. Like I was saying, you can see right here on support, got a momentum long, and that's mainly what we're looking for. We're looking for the buy signals or long signals the on the support lines, and then we're looking for the short signals on the resistance lines. And you can see, like I was saying earlier, it just nails it every time. So if we go from the buy here to the short here, that's 92.5%. Again, this one, little one right here. Let me get rid of this deal. This little long right here can be considered on the support line because it is very close, and every time it's not going to come and touch it out and touch off of it, but it will get very close. So you can see another one. You could have sold right there where it told you to, or stayed in it for that little pullback there and rode it back up. And if we go move down further throughout the chart, long, I mean, right on that support line, and rode it back through here again, right up there to the resistance line, and it said short. So let's see, the potential on that was about 36%. And so this is, I mean, it's that simple. Like I said, I don't really care about news. If this didn't fall through this support line, I would honestly probably look into waiting for the next buy signal on the support line and probably get into it. But since it did fall through, I would no longer look at it personally. So, does anybody have any questions about anything? So on that, like, if I'm gonna swing trade, I'll probably be in 3 to 5, and then since it's on the 4 hour, you really don't have to worry about double check or checking it every 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. Like, on 4 hour it moves so slow. You could check in it, maybe every couple hours, and you'd be perfectly fine. And then once I get into something like that, I'll either keep it on the gambler looking for a sell, or I'll kind of bring it down to either high or moderate. You're gonna get a lot of noise in here anyway, either way, because Vision's trying to keep it safe and keep you in the money. But you can choose to ignore it if you want, or stay in. That's your choice. Yeah. Yeah, no. Once I use the gambler to get in because it just seems to show me the best accuracy, and it'll ride through a lot of the stuff most of the time. This one's pretty choppy, so that's why we're seeing a bunch of signals in between. And then once I enter something, I'll take this and I'll drop it down to like moderate or high to exit out, because it's gonna bring that short signal a lot sooner. And basically everything that I do, I leave my sensitivity on very high. That's just my personal choice, but I mainly watch 4 hour, and then I'll use like daily to kind of give you a little bit of confirmation. Because a lot of times if it's showing a signal on a 4 hour, it'll also be showing it on a daily chart, which is a pretty good sign. Very high. That's gonna like make it try to get you in the earliest as possible. Well, I mean, I know a lot of people have said that they like to use 2 hour. I think it just kind of goes on personal preference. I honestly probably wouldn't go under 2 hour. Okay, Sofa King said, "No, I'm gonna stay on the 4 hour for that." Anything like, I mean, anything like an hour or under just kind of is more of a, maybe hold overnight, or maybe even day trade it. If you're only looking to stay in it maybe a few hours. I personally don't use 2 hour, but I know a couple people do. I mean, it can be anything really. Just holding it longer than a day for sure. I mean, because if you got into something and it just shot up, then obviously I'm probably going to end up selling it the next day. But if it's something riding this trend out, if it doesn't break this bottom support and it doesn't show any signs, or no bad news comes out, there's no really reason that it should just die. So I'm probably just going to hold it and uh, rack up as much profit as possible. But like I said, you can also, well, like I said, you can also get in on support. Yeah, but you can also get in on support and then ride these moves from support to resistance, sell there, wait for the next time that it's clearly on the support, buy in there, ride it up to the resistance, and then sell there again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, bad news you need to watch out for. That's basically your kryptonite. Bad news will just, I mean, especially if it's like FDA or anything like that. Like, just bad news will kill something really fast. Because fear moves a lot faster than hope. You can hope it's going to go up as much as you want, but mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. If something's got bad news that you got a position in, it is best to try to get out of it as fast as possible, because everybody else is going to be doing the same thing. Uh, oh, go ahead. Yo, yeah. Sofa King said, when the stock breaks out of the support channel, how do you determine where the new support resistance is? Sofa King, I don't. If it breaks my yellow line right there, I don't call it back. It's like a bad ex girlfriend. Like, just let it go. Because at that point it's not going to follow the rules anymore. So you need to just let it die. Come back to it later when it wants to follow a new set of rules, because it'll start make like a new trend, and either whether that's a downward trend, or kind of die for a few days or a few weeks and then start a new uptrend. We'll find that out later, but for the time being, until it starts to show that sign, I don't touch it anymore. Yeah, exactly. So, Queen, go ahead, bub. Yeah, you can. I mean, it depends on how much of a gambler you are. On the 4 hour chart, when I set the alerts, the custom alerts that'll send you on a phone, email, your mobile app, whatever you want, I always set them. Let me bring one up here real quick. when it's on the 4 hour, I always do once per minute. A lot of you guys might not like to do that because it'll blow your phone up. Anytime it sees a signal, as long as it's, one signal in this 60-second period, one signal in the next 60-second period, if it's flashing, I want to know about it. So if, like, at this end over here, you see where it just started to die off, there was probably some of these short signals flashing on these two little green candles right here, and so it would have notified you about it. And that's where I would go to the chart, whether if I'm at work or whatever, grocery store, whatever you're doing, you would go to the chart and look at it, and it would probably show you a clear indication of, hey, I need to get out of this thing now. Sweet. All right, let me see what they said. Swing trading, like I said, I use the gambler to get in, and then I like to tighten up the risk a little bit once I'm into a position. I'll either drop it down to like moderate or high, so I can get like an earlier sell signal. What'd you say? If I'm going to swing something, it's just going to be shares. I don't typically like to hold options very much. But of course, you can use it the same way. Let's see. So that yellow flag is telling you to get out of the trade. Absolutely. It's telling you to get the hell out of it if you haven't already. Is there a way to set an alert based solely on a vision signal? Yes, Steve, that's the only way to do it. I mean, you can do it other ways, but I don't see any reason to do it. So right here at the top, when you bring this menu up, it'll say condition, and you'll want to select the vision, V whatever the current version is. So right now we're at the 1.34, and then this is, you can select the buy signal, sell signal, the risk signal, or the risk or the momentum buy signal. Like if you wanted to get signal on something only when it showed you a momentum buy signal, then that is what the alert will, that's the alert that you'll get. And then so you'd set one for the buy signal, you'd set one for the sell signal. And then these are all for basically like the honest dots. Like if you get into something and you want to know when you're 10% into profit since the last buy signal, you can get an alert for that, so you can go in there and take your 10% and go on to the next one. And then all these other menus, you can set it to send the email to SMS, which is a text message. You can notify yourself on your TradingView app. You can show a pop-up, send an email, however you want to do it. Those alerts are super, super handy, especially if you got a day job, or if you like to run around a lot, maybe go shopping or whatever you do. If you're not able to sit in front of your computer, that is the way to go. And then I cut it off. If it breaks support, it's no longer going to follow the rules that we want to play. So like, we get into a swing trade because it's following these rules, right? It's sitting on the support, which is our buy signal for going long anyway, and then it's gonna hit that resistance and then fall back down to the support somewhere, which should be all continuing that upward trend. So if it breaks that support, it's gone to hell to me. Like I said, it's like a bad ex-girlfriend. Don't call it back. Just see you bye. If it breaks that resistance and we're in it, then we're gonna have a nice day. Gonna be a little Christmas present with some with a bow on it. Maybe a little bit of glitter. Yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah. You mean where did I find vision? Or like where the alert sends you? Yeah. Well, if you're gonna be, like I was saying earlier, make sure it's the top, very top drop down menu. Make sure that's set to vision. And then, choose your signal you want. It's going to be long momentum signal, short signal, your profit taking signal, like that's going off the honest dots. And then I don't mess with any of this stuff underneath that. So if you want a long signal, you want to know when it's telling you to buy into ARNA next time, then you would make sure that is on long signal. And then for a swing trade, like I said, I'm going to have it on once per minute because it's going to alert you once per minute if it sees a long signal. So if one is flashing, you might get a lot of alerts to your phone or your app or wherever you have it alerting you at. Once per bar I would not do on day trading because, like I said, 4 hour, it's only going to alert you one time per that candle. So if that short signal came maybe that candle after this big drop, which it wouldn't because vision is badass, but I'm just saying if it came after that, then you'd be late. Once per close I wouldn't use on 4 hour or daily or whatever you're swing trading on, because it's only going to alert you on the close of that candle if the signal is there. Now if you're day trading with these alerts, once per bar close is probably where I would stay. And that would be like a 1 minute time frame, 5, 15, 30, maybe even an hour. The once per bar close is probably what you would want. And then the only once is it's only going to alert you once no matter what on that certain candle. So and then the alert actions is where, and then of course below that is expiration time. So if you're maybe looking for a buy signal on this one, you really want to get into it, you might make sure that expiration date is maybe a few weeks out or something, so it doesn't expire and so you don't miss anything. And then the alert actions underneath that is notify on the app, which is the TradingView app on your phone, iPad, wherever you got it. The pop-up is going to be on your desk, like your laptop, like your computer, whatever you got. It's going to show a little pop-up in the TradingView window itself, probably up here in the top right. And then send the email is going to send you an email of that alert. Say, hey, it's got a long signal here on, whatever ticker you're watching, ARNA. And then the webhook URL, you want to leave that alone to whatever it's got already in there. And then the more actions, when you hit that drop down menu, you can choose the alert. It's like you're sitting here at your computer. I have it on handbell because it's annoying and loud. And then you can choose the amount of time it goes off. I would not go over 5 seconds on the handbell because you'll break your computer. And then you can also have it send the email alert to SMS, which is your cell phone, which SMS, for anybody that doesn't know, is a text message. And then the alert name, you can put a custom name in there if you want to. All this message here in the bottom, leave alone because it's already coded and programmed to let you know what it is. So don't touch any of that. And then if you wanted to, yeah. Yep. Let me go to it right there. Okay. No, this is all TradingView. We can't change none of this. I wish we could, but this is all TradingView's side. This has nothing to do with vision. We can have it go off of vision signals, and kind of choose where we want the alert to go, but we can't change any more than that. Yeah, it gives you only like 1 or 2 on the free one. I personally have the first pro account, and it's like $12 a month or whatever, and it gives me, I think, up to 10, which I haven't ever needed any more than that. So, and then of course, if you ever need more than 10, you can always upgrade. But I would say if you're not sitting here at your computer, while you're trading all day or whatever, however long you're trading. We all know Rhett goes in for like 5 minutes and makes $1 million every day. But but if you're trading all day, it's really handy to have those alerts if you're not able to sit here at the computer. I use the alerts even when I am sitting at the computer. You know, if, like, you might get up and go get, you know, your fourth cup of coffee, and cell signals popping up and something's dying. You know, bad news comes out, something dies like this did over here on the right. And by the time you get your cup of coffee and back at your desk, you know, you're screwed. So, you know, I know if I hear that bell, you know, I better come running. So the alerts are super handy. I would suggest everybody, if you don't have the TradingView, at least the first pro account, like, and we don't get anything from TradingView for you getting it, so don't think I'm trying to sell you on something. Like, it's just, there's so many good perks with their plans. I'm not one for getting membership plans and stuff like that on you know, websites like this, but I did on this one, because those alerts, and then being able to get those $2 data packages, and there's just a ton of stuff, and of course to get rid of those annoying ass pop-ups. Get the hell out of it. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, that means if you haven't sold yet, I don't know what you're doing, and you won't see it all the time. That's so that in our user guide, you can go to our user guide and scroll all the way up. It'll give you a definition of it, but that's basically like if you got into this, so you got in this long signal right here, that means the short, that candle, has surpassed that long signal. And so basically once it starts to pass that, you'll see it, and the yellow flag will pop up, and basically saying if you haven't got out yet, get out. Yeah. Yeah, now would be the best time. So no, if I look at anything else other than institutional ownership and the main trend, I will look at the float size. It's a lower float, like a lot of people call them a micro float, like under, a lot of people say like 20 million, but I like to stay under like 10 million. A micro float means there's not very many shares out there for sale, so when people start wanting these things, the price is going to go up very, very quickly. But it also means that the price can go down very, very quickly. So it's the fastest moving upward, like longs, like, you know what I mean, like so say if it got a momentum signal on a low float, that thing's probably going to skyrocket. On something like, you know, like Ford, you know, it's got a bunch of shares out there, so that's one of the reasons Ford moves so slow every single day, because even if you went out and bought 1 million shares of Ford, that doesn't put a dent in the float size. So when it doesn't have a very big float, if you got a group of guys together and bought enough shares, you could basically pump it yourself. Anybody else have any questions on the alerts? Yeah, when they come out, when they let that new Bronco go and I go buy one. You like the Mach-E? Oh, get that shit out of here. We don't want that. For Amazon? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Nice. Keep us updated on that. Yeah, they're good, very good, like utility work vehicles. I hope Amazon picks up all the electric ones. I know they use the big transit already. Amazon does. Well, they'll eventually just make their own. Oh yeah. I heard Rhett likes to let people shadow trade. Just hit him up. All right. Anybody else got any questions on these alerts? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, good. That's what I like to hear. It should really be illegal. Oh yeah, yeah. Josh is doing some work on that one. Yeah, we had to find some way because there's a lot of you guys do very very well, but there's just some people that are so new that they just start buying and selling on every single signal and they don't add any other confirmation with it or really know what they're doing. So they get hosed a lot. So we had to come up with a way to kind of help out with that and help just a fresh brand new trader that doesn't know anything. So the next version should combat that and do very well for everybody. Oh yeah, I use RSI, like that's one of my main girls, and then Vwap. Vwap's mainly I only use that for day trading, but RSI you can use RSI to transfer for everything. So day trading, no matter what time frame you're on, swing trading, and the new version of Vision that we were just talking about, that's kind of what it's going to use as confirmation. It's going to take, as everybody knows, Vision uses 0 indicators as of now. The new version is going to have color coded long signals based on the RSI that it's sitting at that long signal, and it's 0, none, nada. Because if it uses one, in my opinion, if it uses indicators, it's not an algorithm. And another point I'd like to make is, why would you pay for something that is based off of free indicators? Shots fired. So Vision uses 0 indicators. It's still going to use 0 indicators on the next version, but it's just going to have that extra confirmation in it with the RSI. So if it's over, and so what we did is we're going to tie RSI to the risk level. So at a certain risk level, it's going, like if you had a low risk and the RSI was over, let's say 40, then it's going to say, okay, that's too risky, and I'm only going to show you long signals where the RSI is under 40. And it's also going to be color coded for that risk. So if you, well, Josh is working, slaving away on it. He's pretty fast. So I really couldn't give you an answer, but I would say probably within the next couple weeks. I know he likes to put new updates out there on the weekend before Monday, but I would say probably he's going to be working on it this coming week too. But I could be wrong. He he said he's writing a book. Yeah, Rhett, we don't read. Actually, Rhett, didn't you said you you were gonna do something, right? Hell yeah. How much you gonna charge? What kind of interest? There's no point. No, no, only RSI. In my opinion, is one of the only other than VWAP. It's one of the only reliable indicators, because all that other stuff, yeah, MACD's pretty laggy. That's why we don't like it. It lags behind, especially something that's moving fast. It's gonna lag a lot, but it's just a little laggy. But I mean, I understand it. I know a lot of people that use it, and I mean, it does help. I mean, it's there. If you understand it, you can definitely see some potential in using it. But I went over some of that stuff when we were in Telegram. Remember, there was a bunch of screenshots. I might be able to drag up and pull over here. But anyway, yeah, the new version's gonna it's still gonna be running on 0 indicators like it is now, but it's just gonna have that little extra confirmation tied into it. And it's most likely, I think we decided on having a little checkbox in our menu right here, kind of like the PDT restriction deal. So if you want, like a new trader, I don't know what we're gonna call it, but right now we're calling it Jesus Take the Wheel. So if you want that turned on and you're a new trader and you kind of just like want to keep it as safe as possible, then you'll check it on. If you want just the original version of Vision, maybe you're a scalper or whatever, then you can just leave it checked off. But it should be, as of right now, it's looking very good to keep everybody that's new and just wants to go throw money at every signal. It's looking like it's going to keep them pretty safe. So you say you profited on that one? Nice. Nice. Good job. Good job. I'm gonna have to start charging y'all interest on the profits you make. No, keep going. Keep going. My account's drained. Yeah. Yeah, if I ask you for it. Yeah. So what do you normally trade? Like GNS? You might be smart for doing that. The biotech stuff, man, it can just drop. Like, I mean, it's if we had a scale on what drops the fastest, I would say it was pharmaceutical. Alibaba was no good, huh? Oh man, yeah, I remember you talking about that a week or two ago. Whew. Well, you need to get on Rhett's shadow trading class. Yeah. It ain't nothing. Okay, so vision interest on profits about 10%, 15 grand. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Everybody seems to be doing really good. A lot of like you can see a lot of improvement. Hey Billy, I got an idea. Uh, if you want to stop doing class deals over there, um, we can start a kind of like we had in Telegram, a classroom deal here in the subscriber only section, and you can just let people get up in there and they can ask questions, and everybody can show them, stuff in more perspective instead of just draw your trend lines and yada yada. But mm-hmm. Oh yeah, big improvements going from making $5 or $10 to now Cassandra's making I think the whole last week and the week before she's making like $100+ every trade. That's why Rhett does so good. He might lose one every now and then, but he cuts it. Right? That's why I always tell everybody your your wins, if you cut your losses short, your wins will always outweigh the losses, no matter what. It is. It is. Well, thank you, sir. Say it again for the people in the back. Well, candles is one of the best things to learn because it is the main indicator on the chart. The candles is like the main thing you need to learn because it's like the only indicator that really matters on the chart. If you didn't have the candles, you would have nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would suggest everybody start to. It'll take a little bit for you to memorize them, but once you start seeing them on the chart pop up, like the dojis, like you were just talking about, or like a bullish hammer or a bearish hammer, like you're gonna start to memorize them very quickly. But anyway, your support resistance. Go ahead. Sorry. Regular candles. Mm-hmm. No, you're good. I'm basically I basically showed everybody what I've needed to show them. So, just anybody has any questions, let me know. No problem. No, that's all still hell. I think I got like at least two videos on YouTube that show that stuff. I know the first episode of the Sunday School goes over that. It's on YouTube. In fact, I think we have a hot command that shows it. Yeah, Sunday School. So just go here and it'll take you straight to the playlist. I will also say go watch the video in this the second. That's the second Sunday School video in that playlist I just posted. But let me just show you like right here on. Actually, Neo might be a better one. Let me go. Let me go to the 5 minute here, and we'll turn the old Vwapper on. Just break it up with the extended hours. Okay, so it's basically like think of it as a super strong support and resistance level. As you can see, let me just turn this off so we can see what's going on. So it got above it finally right here, and then it came back and tested it right there, and then it started to fall through it. And so everybody's seen, like these people are all on the other side of the screen, people that are trading against you, with you, whatever, they're all seeing the same stuff. So they know if it falls below the VWAP line like that and it closes below it, then it's going to stay below it for a good bit. And so as you see here, these are 5 minute candles, by the way. It's a 5 minute chart. It comes down. This is considered a test. It comes up. It doesn't have to touch it. Comes up. Doesn't get anywhere near it, so they let it fall some more. Comes up a little bit, lets it fall some more, and then the day closed out. So we'll go through here, and I'll zoom in here so you can get a better look. So it comes up. This is a test. It never closed above it, so it comes back down, and they test it again, and now it starts to close above it, and so they let it ride out, and more people start buying in. You're not going to see a bunch of people buying in something usually under the VWAP unless they have some type of strategy, or they know the chart, they know the pattern, like the SPY. We buy it once it dumps under the VWAP a good bit before 10:30 because it's guaranteed to come back to at least the VWAP line. So it comes here, there's a little dip here, and then keeps going. You can see here it tested it, didn't really touch it, so they continued to buy it back in. And the VWAP is the volume weighted average price. It's basically the average price of people that are holding that stock right there. So you use it basically just as, you could honestly use it as like your main support and resistance line. I tend to a lot, but so you can see here it got above it, closed above it, came up, tested it, came up, tested it again here a couple times, and they continued to let it ride out. And you can see right here, couldn't get above it in the morning, super volatile time, so started to die. And then, like I said, fear moves a lot faster than hope, so a lot of people are going to start selling it when they start to see moves like this. Come up here, tested it, couldn't even cross over it a little bit, so they just let it die some more. Came up, tested it, had a little pullback at it, tested it again, closed above it, and so they let it run up a little bit, tested it here, another little push, and then it came here and closed below it, tested it, came back down a little bit more. And this is considered closing above it, but it's after hours, so nobody really cares about that. And so then it died here, pre-market, died some more, finally got above it, closed above it first thing in the morning on the 11th. And so when it closed above it, they started sending it, and it just rode up there. So you could use it as a support, and that's all I use it for, support and resistance line. But yeah, I go into it pretty long detail on that Sunday school. I think it's part 2. I just posted that link to the playlist there on our YouTube channel, so I recommend checking that out. And like right here, you can see it again. It tested it right here. You can see those couple little red candles there. By the way, this is a doji candle. For anybody that doesn't know, it just looks like a cross. Tested it here, had a little pullback, tested it again, and then closed above it, so it came up a good bit. Came back down, tested it, couldn't break through it, and closed below it, so they just let it run. And this works on any chart, by the way. Same thing here. It was above it, closed above it the whole time, so it had some good volatility, of course. First thing, market open, and then it fell below it, started to close below it, died a little bit, came up here. These are all tests. So if you were watching these candles right here, it would have came up and then came back down and finally settled there on the close of that candle. Here, same thing. Here, same thing. Finally got above it here, finally got above it, and kept going. And then whoop. And then right here, started to test it, closed below it, died a little bit. This is all resisted right here by the Vwap line. Because you can see it never closed above it. Came up here, tested again, barely closed above it. This is a test as a support now. Come up a little bit, and then it finally closed below it, died a little bit. So you can use it, basically use it as a resistance line and a support. Like this right here, you see it kind of finally closed above it here. Then it tested it, sat on top of it as a support now. Came up again, tested it as support again. So now we have 2 solid tests as a support, and so they just started buying the shit out of it. And sent it all day. Send it. This is another, you can go day to day and you can see, you're like, oh shit, that makes sense. Right here, closed below it, came back to it, closed above it, sent it, tested it. Now that it's a support, got a little push out of it, couldn't handle it, closed it underneath, so now it's a resistance. So they let it die, came up, died some more, came up, tested it, died some more. So if you are watching something like this in the morning and it closes above this, there's a really good chance, if it's been underneath it as in using it as resistance all morning, once it gets above it and closes above it, there's a solid 95% chance that you're at least going to get a nice little push out of it. And so you can see here it had a little pullback there, kept going. So it's a super nice, like I said, RSI and Vwap's the only 2 indicators I use. Below it here, came up, closed above it, tested it now as a support, and it respected it as support, so they just let it run. And like I said, you can go just whatever chart you're looking at, same thing. Above, below, closed it. This green candle tested it right here, couldn't hang, so they just let it die. And this is like when I trade those SPY options, this is what I use. In conjunction with Vision, of course, as my main deal. But then I use the VWAP and the RSI as just kind of like a confirmation. So when if this was SPY, when it dies right here, this early in the morning, which happens a lot. Um, I'm gonna buy it down here once it starts to reverse, and then once it comes to the VWAP line, that's where I'm gonna sell it. I'm not, like you see now, it's not guaranteed to break it, so that's why I'm going to sell it at or near the VWAP. I'm not gonna wait for it to break. I'm not gonna hold my fingers crossed. I'm not gonna, nothing. I'm gonna sell it right there. Never guaranteed. Um, well, that's yeah, that's obviously always going to be based on your expiration date. I'm day trading this stuff, so I'm not going to be buying stuff probably afternoon. Now, if it's put city and bad news comes out and you see a big move like this or a big move like this start to happen, after 12 o'clock, I might think about it. The FOMO might get me, but I like to typically stay early morning before lunchtime if I'm day trading them. If you got some good expiration, maybe a few days out, you'd be all right. But then you're gonna need to be putting some trend lines in there and some support and resistance lines and everything like I go over in the first Sunday school episode. But I only day trade them. So like Billy, I mean, Billy said it a million times. I've said it a million times. We're only holding these contracts for, I mean, no more than 30 minutes. And I've never bought contracts after 2 p.m., but I think Billy confirmed that you cannot buy 2 p.m. same day expiration contracts or later on Webull. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nah, he's done by 9:30. Huh. Yeah, I'm super proud of Rhett for cutting them losses short. Ballin'. Yeah, Rhett, what was it that you got a bunch of contracts on that one day and you were like, oh man, what were you down like $1,000, $1,200, and I'm like, Rhett, cut that shit. And you're like, what, really? I'm like, yeah, dude, just before it goes too deep, just cut it. Was it or was it Spy? I thought it was Spy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we were watching it all together, and you didn't want to let it go when I said to cut it, but you thankfully did. And then I know we messaged each other back and forth, and I was like, man, you're doing great, but gotta make sure you cut these things short because those like I tell everybody, those wins will always outweigh the loss at the end of the week or at the end of the month, at the end of the year, if you just learn to cut those losers short. Because if they're, I mean, if you hang on to them, like in Facebook, on the Facebook group, I've seen multiple people, they're like, oh, looks like I'm a bag holder on Neo, or looks like I'm a bag holder on this. I'm like, why didn't you cut it? They think like bag holding is like the way to go if you're at a loss, and it's really not because you can't use that money towards anything else where you could, take a loss today, tomorrow you could, double that and just keep profiting. But if you're bag holding almost all your money into something, you're never gonna get ahead. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You have to. Get rid of those emotions. Gots to go. Mm-hmm. Yep. Easy. No problem, George. You gotta stick to it. That's gonna be on your personal like tolerance. You know what I mean? Well, like I said, it's gonna be on everybody's personal tolerance. Like Rhett might, like he said, like even with the spy, like I think when Rhett sees $1,000, he's like, okay, I gotta get out. You know, a lot of people might be $50. A lot of people might be $100. You know, it's gonna depend on also what you're trading. You know, if it's a little pullback and you can see it, you know, maybe, maybe like if it's like right here and you're taking a loss, like you held it right here, like a lot of people do, and it starts to die off, you know, and it closes underneath that Vwap line, like that's your stop. Like, let's go, no more, I'm cutting it. I'll come back later when it starts to act like it should, you know. So it's going to be different for everybody's personal tolerance. I would kind of just get yourself a level set in your head, like maybe 5%, 10%, and then of course if you're trading on Weeble or whatever, it'll tell you the percentage that you're down. So like if you see 10% at a loss, and that's your exit, then stick to it. You know, because if like let's say it's 5%, and you take profit at 10 or 15%, 20% profit. You know, if you're cutting the losses at 5%, and you're winning 20%, you can lose more trades than you win and still end up in profit at the end of the week or the month. So you gotta. A lot of people, I think, get too wrapped up in let's get rich today. But I'm here to tell you that if you just play it right, cut the losses short, your account will grow very, very quickly. When you start to do what you should be doing, sticking to your rules. Okay, if I take the loss at 5%, if you stick to it, and you go to the next one, and okay, here's 10%, here's 15%, here's 20, whatever, and you follow the vision signals, you're in the long run, you're gonna change your capital like night and day. But you have to stick to the rules, and it'll grow a lot faster than you think. I think Cash started with like a $300 account, and I know she's a lot more than that right now. Rhett, what did you start with? I don't know. Just I guess when we got in here to Vision a couple months ago. What are you at now on that account? So what are you at now on like what did you start with the second time? And what's the total capital right now? So how long have you been trading off of that 10 grand? And you've already doubled it. Probably more because you said you had to withdraw it, but so it happened very, very quickly. But if you concentrate on getting rich today, you're going to lose it very quickly. Right. You gotta think about where am I going to be at the end of this month, not where am I going to be at the end of today. whatever profit you're at, like if you take a position and if you're in profit in 5 minutes and you like where you're sitting, take it. You don't have to wait for a vision sell signal. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. There is. Buy my course. If you win, we win. There you go. And I'm hungry. For who? Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Who? Nothing. Just to be honest, I'm so busy with vision, I haven't been able to take any here lately. But a good place to go find them if you're not going to use FinViz is you go to your Webull app and then go to markets, and then normally where it would show you top gainers for the day, start looking at the 1 month top gainers and the 3 month top gainers, and then start to look at those on FinViz. So the top one here is AP3. So we can go here, AP3. I'm gonna bring up the chart. Not really enough data there for me to mess with. So I'm not, there's no trend. There's no uptrend, there's no wedge, there's nothing there. So I'm gonna go to the next one. I'm gonna skip all these out of country stocks and we're gonna go to ALTM. Not too much data there either because it just recently started to take off. So let me kick this to the 3 month. Here's a super common one, CBAT. I think we've talked about this one many times. So there's a decent bit of information there. You can see that our blue support line is being followed pretty good. Whatever gapped it up right here. What the hell is that noise? Bombs. Anyway, so the blue support line there is pretty solid so far since October at least. They probably got some badass news, that gapped them up here, but it's still following that purple resistance line. So you can start to watch that. I would say probably Monday. Maybe Tuesday, it's going to start to come back down towards our blue support line, and next time it gets in and touches that support line, if it follows it, got to make sure that we have the confirmation that it's not going to dump through it. Then you could start to get in there on that one. And so you just kind of go through the list, go to FinViz, check them out, see what they look like. Next one here, TCON. Yeah, we don't want to just go to the first one, and just go start buying and selling. That's how a lot of people get screwed up. No. If it's something that looks good, then I'll mess with it. And then here's another little quick thing that I'll show everybody. It's following our resistance line very good. Boom, knocked it down, boom. I would assume again next week it's going to knock it down. You can see our darker orange line right here is the SMA 50. A lot of times stocks will use these moving averages as a support line, also as a resistance line. because that's a very common indicator. I would say probably is on at least 80% of people's charts is moving average lines. 50 and 200 is going to be the most common ones. So they're seeing the same thing. Everybody wants it to stay above the 200, because they're hoping that it's going to continue to trend upwards. So you can start to see that probably what will happen next week is this thing will come down, and it'll probably start to find some support towards wherever that 250 moving average line is. The 200 is way down here, so it's most likely going to be the 50. The 20 is going to be too tight to use as something like a support. So I'd again watch this one. I mean, the institutional ownership's not super high, but it's still 40%. And the new transactions here, the new institutional transactions in the last 3 months are up 192%. So that's probably what brought a lot of people's attention to it. Probably had some good news as well to go with it, but just another thing to show everybody on here on FinViz. Super good website. You can go right here underneath the search bar where we found the screener tab, and you can hit Insider. And I know a lot of you are going to be going long on everything instead of short. So you go to the buy transactions, and you can go through here and see all the insider buying. And you can also see the selling if you want to see the selling, but most of you is probably going to be going long. So when I look through here, I look for big numbers. How many shares did they buy? 741,000 on MPLN. Don't know why they bought it, other than being super low, super cheap price. That's when that's the best time to buy them. When they dump, buy them up. So insiders buying almost 800,000 shares. You might keep an eye on that one. Go ahead, Bill. You want me to go to that, Billy? You want me to go to that? AR what? Okay. Trading? ARKinvestment.com. Got articles, white papers, newsletters, big ideas, podcasts, webinars, videos. Must be Rhett's old lady. I think everybody's wanting to know, Billy, is it free? Nice. No reason you shouldn't be there. that's cool. So it looks like they do crypto stuff too, huh? Badass. Hmm. Rat, keep your old lady on the chain, man. She's spending all your money. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Hell yeah. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I got it. There we go. Market movers. Super cool. All right, all right. If nobody else has any questions, I'm gonna cut it off so I can um, not have a super long video to upload. Mm-hmm. Couldn't let the public chat know about that though. All right. Hey, forget about it. Sounds like you need the data. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You can go to this the gear icon here in the top right, and then make sure to show real prices on price scale instead of okay. Yeah, you need the data packages. $2. Yeah, they still want you to pay the $2, but it's worth it. 100%. Oh no, no, it's like $2 each. Oh yeah, the plans. Yeah. Let's see. I think mine's like 16 or something. I don't know. It's cheap enough. I don't even look at it. Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, unless you want that many alerts and being able to put that many charts on one screen or whatever, then um, yeah. But that's personal. You know, how many charts do you want to watch? How many alerts do you want to be able to make? But uh, well, I know. No offense to anybody. Trading View is trash, or not Trading View. Fucking E Trade. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They screw you. Nope, they screw you hard everywhere. E Trade will get a bunch of just random charges on you. That's all I've heard. That's all I've heard from people that use E Trade. What day was that? Yeah, I can see it on the chart. You see why you got screwed? You went short at the resistance right there. Do you understand why you got screwed? No, I'm saying, do you see what you did wrong? Do you see what you missed? It broke out that resistance. That's what screwed you. Now, if it didn't break out, then you would have been golden. Right. Yeah, you played it right. Yeah, they just screwed you. Yeah, no, if it if it would have followed the resistance like you had projected it would have, then you would be good right now. You would be in profit. But yeah, it's yeah, you can see the news releases right here. If you scroll underneath all the info, you can see it all. Oh yeah. Huh? We's talking about the same guy. Oh yeah, he's a pumper. He's a stock pumper. All right, everybody. I think I'm gonna cut her short or long because it's been yeah, almost 2 hours. It's gonna take forever to upload, but I'll get it. Yo. Alrighty. All right, everybody. Take a look at what? Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay. We'll figure it out. You gonna message it to me, Rhett? Okay. Cool. All right, everybody. Have a good night.